I like the word futuristic.
Hmm.
Uh, they gave up 5-year plans and buried Nehru. Now we have a 25-year plan and revival of Nehruvianism. So the public sector is now the engine of growth. We heard a lovely line in the budget, which took me back to my MA days at the Jawaharlal Nehru University, where Nirmala Sitharaman also studied, a university that the present government has been destroying, where she said public investment will crowd in private investment. I went back to 1950s. And yes, I agree with that. I think she has learned some economics. And I'm glad that this government has woken up after 7 years. And the pandemic has woken them up. I wish this had been the budget speech in 2014, where they could have said that the economy has slowed down, which it did. Between 2012 and 2014, the economy did slow down. We had high expectations of 8% growth in the period from 2003 to 2012. So in 2014, if Prime Minister Modi had come to power and said, I'm going to give India 8% growth for the next 20 years, I would have been happy. They
Can
lost
you
seven
can
years.
can you focus a little bit on your phrase that after reviling Nehru, this is a revival of Nehruvian economics? What do you mean?
Yes, I mean that's the critical sentence in the budget. Public investment will crowd in private investment. The whole Washington consensus, what people call neoliberal economics, which has dominated in the last couple of decades, was about private investment driving growth, right? And now private investment is still fighting shy. Private capital formation is still very low. Indian private sector is waiting for the government to give the cue, and the government has given the cue. It has given the cue by saying, I'll invest more, public investment will rise, and that fiscal deficit will remain high, and that customs tariffs, etc., will be maintained. So there'll be some protection for domestic industry. This is all the old economics of Nehru, which has come back. And I hope it will
And,
deliver growth.
and you welcome it. And you welcome it. You think the budget has moved,
Well,
Dr. Baru,
I
in the right
certainly
direction
welcome
for the circumstances.
I certainly welcome it because I want the growth momentum to come back. I want employment to be regenerated. There's been no employment growth in the last several years, and pandemic was not the only factor. So if government will now get back into the economy and start reviving investment, start spending on infrastructure, generating jobs, good. I'm glad for it.
Okay. Very interesting, Dr.